All right.
Hey, everyone.
Hello.
Thanks for joining in.
Guys?
We are Jenn and Joe. We have our creative finance playbook, and today we're going to spend some time with some of our students who are coming up on a 1-year mark with us, Mike and Jae. So we're super excited to have you guys here.
Super
Absolutely. We're happy. It's been a crazy wild ride. That's all we can say.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
But you're still here. And
we're here and we're keeping going.
Yeah. So we're going to try to keep it condensed so it's not too long of an interview. We could chat with these guys seriously all day long. They're so much fun and they have so much to share. I even learn from them, and I know Joe does too at times. They're just amazing people. So if you haven't given them a follow, make sure that they share some of their social media pages because they are crushing it. I'm going to start there. When Jae first started with us, she did not have a Facebook page, guys. So if you follow us for a while, you know that we absolutely love social media. Facebook is a great way to connect with sellers and just other people in general. And so Jae, take us back, girl. A year ago, you start with us, and what is going through your head when we're like, you don't have a Facebook page?
I was like, no, I don't know. I just don't have one. You guys were like, we're going to change that. And I was like, oh man, here we go.
Yep. And so fast forward a year, like what does your page look like today?
It's booming. That's the best way I can put it. I mean, I have so many people reaching out to me just about their homes. They know our Roman for Homes page too. So just my personal page, people follow me with that, and then our Roman for Homes page.
How many times from people from home now, like from where you grew up, are always inboxing you? Can I work for you?
Yep. Reaching out. What do you do? How do you do this? It's crazy.
Awesome.
So it definitely works then, what you're saying.
Yeah, 1000%.
I have to giggle because everybody says, well, Facebook's for old people. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'm old. I'm 40 now, whatever. But guess what, guys? Old people sell houses or have houses possibly for sale. So get yourself a Facebook page, step one. So you did an awesome job at listening there. But even before you joined us, I know you had a couple questions you wanted to.
Well, and Mike's had a Facebook page, but I don't think you really ever used it much, did you?
No, if you really scroll back in my stuff, you don't want to. I had it since I was like 12. And then right before we joined with you guys, I actually deactivated my Instagram. I deactivated my Facebook because I was like, social media is just a distraction. And like, I was like, we have to really hone in. That's all mindset, right? So then when we joined with Jenn and Joe, turned it back on and kind of transformed it into like my teenage wild youth of like posting stupid pictures to making it a money machine.
Yeah. And that's the whole point of social media. It could be a great tool if you learn how to use it the correct way. And it took us a lot of trial and error, a lot of things that we've learned throughout the years of us doing it. And then when you have those aha moments, and then you have those really special times where you're like, wow, this is actually literally working and a lot easier than I thought it would.
Yeah.
It's great. So I have to dial back. What got you guys into real estate?
Take it away.
When I was growing up, my parents I grew up in a duplex, so a multi-family house, like upstairs, downstairs. And my parents had 2 other 2-family homes in town. And my dad was like the typical like old school landlord, like the actual, like if the toilet breaks, he's going in the middle of the night. And honestly, that deterred me from real estate. It wasn't up until thank you for Philadelphia, also weird in Philadelphia. And thank you for Philadelphia. We moved into a neighborhood that's getting gentrified and it's up and coming. And there was just construction all around us, like new everything. So we looked at each other one day and we're like, do we really want to work for somebody the rest of our lives? Like, what's the next step? And I know that if my dad continued and then my parents continued, it would have been totally different. So we took the leap and we just started going on the MLS. We hired a realtor and we bought our first rental property. What was that? In January of 2021. And that was just a regular conventional loan. And since then we loved the cash flow and we were like, what's next? Mm-hmm. So it was just kind of like let's do it. That's it. Just jump, go.
So you jump into real estate, you go get a realtor. 14 months ago, you close on your first deal. How's that been?
That house or just real estate ride in general?
We'll go with that house.
That house, same tenant since the second month. The house is great. We bought it. It really didn't need much. The prior owner did everything to it. And it's basically just a money machine, making like $400 a month off of it. A little single family row home. That's it. So just an ATM.
Nice. So then fast forward, that was probably a couple months into, I think we met on some sort, again, social media, we met through there, and you chose to sign up for the mentorship. And I remember you signed up with some pretty big goals. And if you want to just kind of like share where your thought process was, and then a year later, you know, have those goals been met? Have you surpassed them? Kind of give a quick snapshot there.
The goals were interesting. I know we had to fill out that sheet, and the way that the sheet put it, me and Mike both looked at each other. We were like, wow, I never thought about it this way. Do you remember that? It was like,
yeah, like it's starting to spark my mind now. It feels like years ago. That's why it's like, but I remember when we set goals right before we met Jenn and Joe, when we wanted to buy one creative deal, buy a house hack. That's where we're at right now. I got bigger news, be able to quit my W-2 in 5 years, but that's actually happening in 2 months. So it's craziness. And
Joe predicted it. He said it. He said, you're going to do it way sooner.
I was like, this guy's crazy.
Well, how were you able to do that? You know, you had the projection of 5 years, and you've now done it in it'll be like a year and a half.
We just really got laser focused, and it's not easy working with your partner. Like, she's my life partner, she's also my business partner. So when you're working with somebody right next to each other, you have to figure out what you're both good at. And the first defining step was figuring out our roles. There was a lot of like little petty arguments, figuring out, no, you stay in your lane, I stay in my lane. And when we finally figured it out, it was like night and day.
Another thing, sorry to cut you off. Another thing is, we listened to what you guys told us to do.
Yep.
And everything that you said, we did to a T. So that was Facebook page, that was reaching out to sellers, using the script, everything.
Yep. The secret sauce was literally just replicating, like not trying to reinvent the wheel, and just literally replicating what you guys do. And since our first rental property 14 months ago, we've closed 8 real estate transactions. And we now own $750,000 worth of real estate. We did that last night, and we were like, wow. Like, excuse me? Like, so
Incredible.
to us at 25 years old, I really couldn't ask for anything more. And like, we're just continuing on growing. So.
Well, that's an incredible story. I get goosebumps listening to it, because I remember when we very first met you guys, I think we were like some Instagram or a Zoom meeting where there was like a round table. And I remember after we got out of it, I remember looking at Jenn like, I really like those guys. And she was like, yeah, they were awesome. And then lo and behold, we start having coaching shortly after. And then I saw the application come in, Jenn did. And she was like, that's Mike and Jae from when we met him in that Zoom meeting. And I was super excited because I felt your energy. I know Jenn did too. Obviously, you guys are both super likable. How can you not like you? But also too, like your attitudes, attitude is everything. And you have a great positive attitude. And I don't know if it's that Philly Jersey thing. Not afraid to roll up your sleeves and go to work, whatever you want to call it. You just go to work, you listen, you take direction well, and you execute. And that's the name of the game. So,
growing up for both of us, if we weren't coachable, that was one thing our parents made sure that's kind of why we're big family people. And both of our families were like, if they told us both, if you're not coachable and if you don't listen to the people that are in charge of you, we were brought up to respect the people that lead you. And I think that has a lot to do with it, honestly. Like, you respect their word. If they tell you what to do, you do it. And they're telling you to do it for a reason, basically. So
You could just say it's because I'm 44. You're respecting your elders. I'm fine with that too. Okay.
That's hilarious. But I think also now that you've grown, it's not just Mike and Jae. You've also learned how to grow a team. And now you've become the leaders in your team while still being coachable. And I think that's really important because sometimes there's a notion of, I'm the owner and you listen to me. But it's the people who actually are still educating themselves along the way that can really be the best leaders. So kind of share with that process a little bit. How did you find some people to work with you? And how do you, because you've got some new talent that is already bringing you deals.
Okay.
So right now we have 2 people, Melissa and Graydon. And they are awesome. They kill it every day, working hard with us.
How do we find Melissa?
Melissa, I think we put it out there on social media that we were hiring.
And she inboxed us on Instagram.
Yes.
And she inboxed us. And from there, I remember now, right?
Mhm.
And she was just like, can we set up an interview? How do I start? And she's just killing it.
She was shining from day one.
Yep. She's just the type of person, kind of like us, like Jenn and Joe, like if she takes direction well, but it's not about what they do, it's about how we lead and how we train. Not to mention, prior to Melissa and Graydon, we did go through 7 people. So it's not all fun and games, it's not all pretty. And it's pretty crazy. In 1 year, we went through 7 people. And then Graydon actually came to me and asked if I can help him close the deal and JV on it. And I told him, I'm not interested in JVing, but I think we can help each other and we're hiring. So why don't I teach you and you come work for me or work for us? And he said, that would be awesome. And he's been with us a month and he's already got us a deal. We're going to be writing that up this week. So.
Wow. That's awesome.
And thank you for sharing that, that were 7. I didn't realize there was that many. I knew you had a couple. It's not easy to find the right people for your culture. And so it's once you have a couple of people who aren't working out, you learn quickly, like they're not working, let's move on. Let's part as friends and no harm, no foul. But it's definitely a trial and error basis, especially when you have to be pretty close with these people, right? You talk every day, or what is your strategy there?
Yeah, so we have a Slack channel that we do talk to each other every day. We have Monday and Friday meetings and then Wednesday sales training.
Yep. And quick there, because all of our schedules are crazy, we actually do sales training at 8 p.m. at night.
Mm-hmm.
So like if we make sure that everybody's dedicated and it's not just us, and for them to be on at 8 p.m. at night with us is pretty big.
Yeah.
So
speaks very loud. But yeah, that's.
Yep. And then really it's what we do is we kind of changed our whole training dynamic, and we make sure that Mondays are goal setting, Wednesdays are sales training, Friday is reviewing the week, going over any questions, and then obviously any deals. And then throughout the week, they're just constantly asking us questions about how to respond here, what to do here. And instead of, this is just very raw, instead of chasing them with a whip, you lead with a carrot and you reward them for the things that they do. And I stole that line for both of you guys, so I can't take credit for that, but
one thing
we did too. Well, you gotta not fun to crack a whip all the time, right? It's more fun to dangle the carrot and have really exciting goals and opportunities that people can reach. And
I think it's really cool to listen to Graydon, who came to you asking for advice. You guys take him under your wing, and then within 30 days, he's got a deal.
Yep.
Where, prior he had, without your guidance and help, he would have had nothing, or maybe potentially nothing, obviously. But now with the right guidance, and this is where we really believe in coaching, because it helped us tremendously, is with that right guidance, you could all of a sudden make a few small tweaks. Maybe you're not reinventing the wheel, right? But with the right proper guidance, you can really make some magical things happen.
mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So with that, obviously you guys have done a bunch of deals. I'm sure helped out a lot of folks along the way, got a lot of really cool stories. I love the adventure that you guys did where you went to that one time you were all your properties, because
a little road trip.
Did a road trip. So
Yep.
That's super cool. So two things I really want to touch on. First of all, why is it named Roman for Homes? Because some people might wonder, why is this Mike and Jae, but who's Roman?
Yeah, your branding. How'd you come up with that?
You want to take it?
Roman is our fur baby. So we adopted him during the pandemic, and I don't know, Roman was roaming the streets of Philadelphia, and we were roaming for homes. So
We were coming up with all kinds of different names. We were like, this is all too cheesy. We need to come up with something cool. And
Yeah.
my accent, I don't say the G at the end of roaming. I say Roman. So I was like, oh, there we go. Roman for homes. So, and it kind of just like, we were out one day, we were like, what are we doing? We're Roman for homes. And we were like, there it is. Because Roman was in the car, and
Yeah.
it just
clicked, it just stuck.
And we're huge animal people. So this is actually a new goal. Never shared it with you guys that we came up with, but eventually what we want to do is we want to buy an apartment complex with like creative finance, and all proceeds go towards an animal shelter, and we open up an animal shelter to help animals. So the building real estate will fund the shelter.
That is
Incredible.
awesome.
I love that.
Yep.
It's totally possible.
Yeah.
That's something we've been talking about recently. Like, well, what are we going to do to make a difference? And that's kind of another goal that we brought up.
That's the stuff I love about what we do is, we always look for ways to give back. And yeah, we help a lot of sellers, we help buyers, and there's a lot of folks we help with every real estate transaction. But what about outside of real estate, right?
Mhm.
And like, if you have a passion, which is really awesome that you found yours and you're able to now fund it through real estate too. And that's where, same thing for us. I think we've chatted about before, the passion where I want to have a sneaker drive for going back to school kids who are needing a new pair of shoes. So
That's awesome.
yeah. So that is so cool. So
We'll
now,
have to make those some 2023 goals then.
Yes.
so my question to you is, you kind of touched on it earlier. You mentioned to us you wanted to quit your job in 5 years. Here it is, not even quite a month, or not even a year into our program. And you had a conversation with your boss not too long ago. How'd that go? What was that conversation, and how did that go?
So I had dropped a nugget at at my last review. So every year in a normal W-2 job, I'm sure everybody has reviews. And at my last review back in 2021, I had dropped a nugget saying that I think at the end of 2022, maybe beginning of 2023, I think I'm gonna, really take the forge and maybe go part-time here. And my boss was like, okay, like we'll talk when the time comes. And then last week, Joe and Jenn keep asking, when you leaving, because they know we can do it. And it's not as they're forcing us. And I said, you know what? Let me make this real. So I literally I texted my boss and I was like, you have a minute to talk? He hopped on. I was like, look, man, I love you. We've been together 5 years. You took me under your wing, and I've, really excelled in this business, but it's not my passion. And I am going to be leaving on or before my birthday, which is June 24th. And I just want to let you know and not give you 2 weeks. I'll help you with what you need. He took it a step further, brought the supervisor in, and I talked to him, and they both basically gave me their wishes. And they said, we wish you all the best, go out and kill it. But the door is always open if you ever need it. So it's real, it's happening. And the real way that we know it's happening is because we were looking at health insurance the other day to go out on our own, and really, next step is Operation Bring Jay home, because she's got to be still working for the law firm. So I'm hammered down until that happens too.
May I say I am scared. Okay, there's that element. But I have complete faith in what we're doing and complete faith in him. So
it's been since January 1st. So prior to January 1st, we weren't doing deals consistently. January 1st, we started and we said our commitment. This is something that Joe talked about with their team, because we get to join their meetings. And I heard this and I was like, wow, that's what we're talking about. It was your commitments versus your goals. Our commitment was to do 1 deal a month for 12 months for 2022. And our goal was to do 3. Well, month 1, we did a deal. Month 2, we got 2 under contract, but 1 reversed And then the other one, we actually wound up getting a $20,000 assignment fee. And in March, we have 3 right now, and we have a virtual walkthrough tomorrow, which is usually when we sign the contract. And then we have another one on Monday. So with 2 days to spare, I think we're going to hit our 5. And that was our goal for this month. And we have completely surpassed our, what's called our W-2 income with assignment fees and everything else that we're doing. So it honestly is a no-brainer at this point.
We had, and I remember, that's why I wanted to bring it up, because I remember having the talk with you guys in February when we were still back in freezing cold New York. Now we're down in warm Florida. As you can see in the background, this is not virtual. That is real palm trees right here. We're in Florida poolside doing this interview. Not to be that way, but I am going to be for half a second. But when we were back in New York in freezing cold temperatures, I remember we had the conversation about how you were thinking of leaving your job. And I said, you know what? Here's how you could tell if you're ready. I said, we're going to use next month as a contest for you. And if you do a deal, then there you go. You're going to say, well, I'm able to do a deal, not just hitting 1 or 2, luckily, like I'm going to do it consistently, right? Because you did them in January, you're hitting them in February. Here it is now March. And I said, if you do 2 or 3, that's going to really prove whether you are doing it or not doing it. So this was an internal test, whether you realize it or not. I'm sure you kind of felt some of that pressure to perform, but the whole point of it was, okay, your back's up against the wall. Can you make it work or can you not make it work? Right. And here's what I always say is anybody could say anything they want. I could tell you I'm going to do 100 deals next month. I could tell you I'm going to do 100 deals this month, but how many are actually on the board at the end of the month? That's the real deal. So you guys are definitely putting in the work, because it's not just talking. You're not just talking about it, you're being about it. And the proof is in the pudding. So 3 deals already under contract. So worst case scenario, the other 2 say, no, we're not doing it. You still got 3. Now I know how you guys are. So odds are them 2 other deals to bring into deals are probably going to look pretty darn good. So, hitting your goal of 5 that's fantastic, because in first quarter of the year, you've almost hit your yearly commitment already.
Yeah, I honestly didn't even think of that, but it's just, it's crazy. I'm like, I like to be humble about it. I think we're both like kind of humble people, but
it feels good.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah.
There we go. It
Freaking-
feels good.
Freaking awesome.
I love that.
That whiteboard back there.
Yeah.
All the hot leads that we got on the left side. I'm like, I walk in here every day and I'm like, you're freaking doing it. You're doing it, man. You're doing it. That was always my goal since I'm a little kid. So.
Well, we are super proud of you both.
Yeah. And I think too, if you could just share a little bit, as much as you're comfortable with, but like over the last year too, you've done some sacrificing, right? Like to get to where you're at, but also to where you want to be. Can you share a little bit about maybe some life choices that you guys have gone through to put yourself in a position?
It was harder for her, so let's hear it.
So when was it? When did we?
That was back in May.
Okay, so we decided to stop renting and look for a house, and we were under contract for
120 days.
Yeah, on a house, and we actually moved in with Mike's mom.
And we were only supposed to be there for a month, right? So we broke our lease completely.
Yes.
We basically just told them we got to go. You want to keep our security deposit? Goodbye, but we're not going to pay you 30 grand over the course of 2 years. So we left that house that, thank God, it was a full gut. And we were going to do a rehab loan, everything. And it fell through. We wound up staying with my mom 7 months.
Yeah.
Or is it like 6 months, something like that.
Closer to 7.
Yeah, it was from May through November. And she,
oh man,
by the end, she was like, please,
let's
find me
go
home, please.
Yeah.
So we just were night and day driving back and forth to Philadelphia, living with my mom. It's 2 hours away in North Jersey, trying to find a house and doing it the conventional way. Once again, we'll never do it again. Conventional, please no. But we wound up finding a house hack. That was one of our goals. And the goal was to make sure we could have bought many different houses, but we would not budge until we figured out a house that will pay for the entire mortgage. And we finally found one. And this house, we now live for free. We only pay for groceries, and our utilities.
Yep.
So
I love
that's all been kind of in the process of being with Jenn and Joe. That was right at the start of Jenn and Joe.
Kind of
And,
missed garage talk. I'm not gonna lie.
I forgot. Yeah, we were working out of the garage. So my mom only has a 3-bedroom house. My brother was home. We were staying in my room, and my mom was there. And the only place to work was in the garage. So we set up our office
We
in
set up
a
shop.
garage in the middle of summer, sweating our ass off. Excuse me, I'm sorry. But, but
With
But it's a sacrifice.
with once in a while chickens.
yeah.
Oh yeah, the chicken.
Oh yeah, at the other place. And
Uh-huh.
we had some wild chickens in our yard in Philly at
Yeah.
our other place.
That was the house that we were like, all right, let's take the area was getting gentrified. Our neighbor had what? Chickens.
Goats, everything. And it was looking like a farm.
So, but no, and it's really great to see what you guys, what you've went through
Mhm.
to get to where you are now, because usually what happens is people get to see this part of you like, oh, look at them. They look great. They're
Beautiful
doing well.
apartment. Oh, that's cool. Now they live for free. Must be nice.
Right.
I love that comment.
They
Must
don't-
be nice.
It is. It's
It's
real
really
nice.
nice because you just did all of that to get to where you're at. So
Yeah.
It is nice, but at the end of the day, this isn't our dream area either.
No.
We don't live in in the most greatest neighborhood in the world. But hey, I don't really care. We don't care. We don't have kids. It's just me, Jay, and Roman. And
We use our specialty. We listen to the signs of gentrification and what we've learned.
yep, and it's just a sacrifice again.
And we keep our end goal in our
because-
mind.
Then we're gonna have our mansion.
Yep.
I was gonna say, are you actively looking for your next house through creative financing?
I
am. He's not.
That's not true. Jen saw me posted in Arizona the other day. So
Sure did.
yeah, we were like, Joe told us to pick a test market a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
and he said Boston, and I was like, we like Arizona. So, and I know it's landlord friendly too. So we've been like, I've talked to probably like 20 to 30 people out in Lake Havasu, Arizona. It's on a big lake. And if we land a house there on the water, we're taking a boat and we're going.
Mhm.
Oh, I love
Yeah. So
I love
that's
it. Well, we are in Tampa, Florida right now. Started looking for a house down here, and lo and behold, I was on a closing call with a seller yesterday, and I'm going to keep my fingers so crossed they're going to bend extra, because this is a stunningly beautiful house in a stunningly beautiful neighborhood, and the seller is like, yeah, this will work great. We just have to find our next house. He's like, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah, I am serious. And I was like, this will probably be a house for myself and my family. It's a 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom, 2,800 square foot house built in 2016. It's gorgeous. And he's like, yeah, well, the problem is the backyard here.
Mhm.
There's, I forgot what they call it, but you can't, there's
There's
not
a
enough.
nature preserve in the
Yeah.
back, so you can't put in a pool. So that's
There's a-
why he wants to sell, which I get. It's pretty hot here, so but there are 2 community pools and a playground for the kids.
And it's like
so,
almost like a water park inside one of the community pools. It's like crazy.
Yeah.
So, but I'm
and I
like,
have to giggle because in some Facebook groups today, I saw like, some guy was telling everybody, you can't find houses in Florida off market, seller finance, creative finance. And I said, oh, yes, you can. You just need to know how to look for them. So,
and know the right questions to ask.
yeah.
Yep.
And
So, anywhere, any market, it's totally possible.
And
you-
was that a quick question? Now I'm gonna pull a Jen and Joe. Was that lead free? Right? That lead was free.
that was a free
It
lead.
was a free lead. Yeah.
And-
We didn't even touch upon that for you guys
Yeah,
yet.
and not only that too, one I did the day before was in Cape Coral on a free lead on another gorgeous house with a pool. Although Cape Coral is like 2 hours from here,
Mhm.
and a beautiful house, but
Kind of want to stay up here.
I like it here. So yeah, I want to talk about marketing. I don't want to take I figured
We're
we
not going
would-
into the secret sauce of it,
Well,
but
The question is, guys, then we don't have to get into marketing. I just want to know, what's your monthly budget for marketing to get all these deals, to get all these leads that you do?
A nice big fat 0.
Yep.
We don't pay anything in marketing right now at all.
And I'm going to pay
Everything
that
is
guy right now, like nothing, like not a thing on any of it.
Just a big smile.
just $100 a month in prop stream. Literally, that's it. and we just use that to analyze deals. But at the moment, we do everything we do is for free.
Yeah.
And that's all stuff that we learned from Jenn and Joe. Quick, going back to when we did before we met Jenn and Joe, we're like, we're gonna go do mailers. We're gonna get a nice duplex off of this. Sent out, we hand wrote mailers. We sent them out. I think we wind up spending like $100 on everything and got nothing at all. And then we realized this isn't it. This isn't it, pal. So.
Well, mailers do work. We've done them, but you have to spend a lot of money to get the results.
Yeah.
And then when we started doing, cold calling, we tried a lot of different things and all of them work.
Mhm.
It's just how much work do you want to put in to get to the results? And I'm a big fan of letting technology help you and working smarter, not harder. And if you could find a competitive advantage that you can employ and it works tremendously, then go do that. And then that's when we kind of stumbled upon our ways to get free leads without spending money. And then how you're able to get an abundance really is almost as many as you want, you can get.
Mhm.
If you want to get 10 today, you can get 10 incoming warm leads today for free. If you want to get 50 today, it's a little bit of work, you can. No money cost. So
Mhm.
I love it.
Absolutely. It definitely helps the bottom line. I will say that.
Absolutely. So I guess my question is, so you guys are you wholesale, but you're also doing creative finance too, right?
Yeah.
So have
Yep.
you had any creative finance or wholesaling experience before we met?
None at all. Like zero. We only bought a house conventionally through a
Yep.
bank. So that was it.
And you guys own a couple properties now
Yeah.
without using bank financing, with no bank, no credit. Is that right?
Yep.
Yep.
We own a house that we bought with a wraparound mortgage, and we bought a house subject to, and we're also selling those creatively, which is pretty awesome.
And that is awesome. So when you bought these properties, they didn't pull your credit.
Nothing.
You didn't have to apply for a loan or anything.
Nope.
What was the rough idea? How much did it cost you? Like, don't you need like tens of thousands of dollars to buy these houses?
You would think. But the one house that we bought is a 5-bed, 2-bathroom with a 3-car garage. And we paid $7,000 out of pocket, inclusive of closing costs, to buy that house. And we made it all back and some from the way that we sold it in 3 months.
Own it.
So
And when you say sold it, you mean, but you still own it. You're working with tenant buyers, right?
correct. So we
I love
sold it on a lease auction. So we got a nice big down payment. We get monthly cash flow. And when they buy us out, we're going to make a nice spread on the back end. So that house, you want to call it a burr without the bank. That is basically what that is. We got all of our money back. It's infinite cash on cash return after owning it for 3 months and putting no work into it. So
Burr without the bank.
And you don't need to have your credit tied up. You
Mhm.
don't need to have the debt on your credit.
yep.
All the positives too. So, but you still own it. So bravo. And obviously too, you helped out a seller and you're
Yep.
helping out some folks that are going to be future homeowners. And with the program to get into being an owner, that's fantastic. So bravo to you
And
guys.
you don't owe private money or hard money or any of that either.
That was our big thing. Before we had met you guys, we had looked into hard money so many times and it never worked. Like the numbers just couldn't work. And we were so scared that if anything happened, what are we gonna do? And then you guys showed us the light.
And you put
Literally,
in the
it's
work.
crazy.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you both were putting in the work.
So it's been wild. We did cash wholesale deals. We've assigned creative deals. We've bought creative. We've sold creative. We bought conventional, which we'll never do again. But
Well, and I think that's the best thing. It gives you the ability to feel like you can leave your job, that you realize I don't have to have my W-2 in order to qualify for a mortgage at a bank in order to buy real estate. And that's a misconception that so many folks, without understanding
Yeah.
creative finance, think I have to have a job so I could go to Bank of America or Wells Fargo to apply for that mortgage to buy my duplex or whatever I'm going to buy, and put down all this money. If you-
what was your question to me when we were driving to go get ice cream last night? We were both like, I looked at her, I said, do you think I'm making the right decision on leaving the job? You know, just me always being in my head. And she was like, yeah, I think so, but I'm nervous. But she was like, what if we ever want to go buy a house? Like, how are we going to get financed? And I was like, we don't need to. We're just going to find it. We're going to buy it creatively. And she was like, oh, yeah, you're right. Okay. Yeah, you're making a good choice. And it was literally just like that.
Just like that.
And no stress on your shoulders anymore. That's just kind of how it feels like.
So I shouldn't tell you this, but I'm going to. If you're self-employed making a lot of income, you can still qualify for a mortgage.
True that.
There you go.
I shouldn't even told you that because you know what's going to happen is you're going to come across deals and leads and you're going to market in the areas where you want to live. And then when it comes across a lead that looks great, you're going to look at each other and say, hey, should we buy it? Should we move in there? Right. And then next, you're buying a house. We came this close to doing that back in New York. And when I looked at Jen, I'm like, this is a beautiful house in a beautiful neighborhood. And she's like, yeah, it's still too cold up here. And I was like, good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny because we were like trying to figure out what area. I'm like, it's too cold. But
And it's in one of the hottest areas back where we're from too. So to even have that
my
lead come in,
hometown.
yeah.
Yeah, thanks. So Mike's coming up on his leaving his W-2. So what's the goal for Jay?
I don't know. We haven't even really.
Sooner rather than later.
Yeah, that's all we know is sooner rather than later. Our thing is we just want to make sure that we stay consistent with the leads coming in. And if we stay consistent, we will immediately surpass our income from our W-2 jobs, and she's going to leave. So we just want to make sure that for a few months we're consistent, and once we know that and we're confident, she's gone too. There's been a lot of talk on our end. So when I leave my job, this is her. You want to buy an RV and go around the country? I was like, what? But then I was like, well, I guess we can. Like, what's stopping us? And then we can just rent this place out, cash flow, and it'll pay for our monthly expenses everywhere. So it's wild.
Or opportunities,
Yeah.
just the doors keep opening.
It's craziness. My mind is.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you'll end up wanting to do. You could live in different places, you could travel to different places. And I will say, you guys are doing all of this business while both holding full-time jobs.
Yeah.
So if you're able to do all of this, well, you're really just filling in the cracks of your time, right? Because you have sleep, you have to do things while you're not sleeping, like eat and shower, right? So there's that time taken away. Then there's work, and then whatever time there's left over, you have for each other, friends, family, fun activities, and then putting this in there. So it's, with the 24 hours that you're given, you both are making a lot of progress with that. So obviously that's what Jen touched on earlier, sacrifice, right? Because there is some of that in there, but I cannot imagine where you two are going to be able to go when you're doing this full time. Both of you, besides, like, holy cow. I mean, it might be like a private jet you're working on. I could see that happen.
Or a yacht or wherever.
Yeah.
Roman might have a Cuban link, but
A big, nice one too.
yeah.
So if people are interested in your journey, where can they find you on social media? Just share all your pages where we can connect.
Sure. So we have Roman for Homes, where we purchase homes. And then we have RFH Rent to Own. So Roman for Homes Rent to Own on Facebook, both of those. And then
my Instagram is Mikey_Scarpa. And Jen probably share some of my posts. You guys can see her there. And then what's your
mine's Juju Bear _27.
And if you guys ever want to reach out to us, you have any questions, we're more than happy to help. We are hiring. I didn't want to say that. We are looking to grow the team and starting to build that now. So if anybody would like to come and even just talk with us and see if it's the right fit for you, you're more than welcome to.
And that's a great opportunity for the right folks too. So that's awesome. Well, I will say that you guys are always giving back. You're always ideal students. You come every week, even when you don't feel well. You come with great questions. You come with great problems. When we have those answers, I could see the execution happen. You come with good attitudes. and you're never whining that you're too busy or that you can't find the time. Once in a while, we have to almost tell you like, hey, slow down because you're going to burn out.
Yeah.
And sometimes you might even feel that. I'm sure we've had those conversations before, how to avoid that happening. But you guys are the real deal, and you come to work. So you'd be super proud of what you've accomplished in such a short amount of time.
Yeah. And with our coaching, there's a private Facebook group, and you guys are constantly sharing and giving back in there. And we really are appreciative for that, because everybody learns from everyone else as well. So that community is really important to us. So thank you for being so active in there. And any last words for people who are maybe thinking about starting in real estate, or as far as creative financing goes? Last final thoughts there.
I would say this is just me, like what somebody told me. They were like, oh, there's no need to pay for education for real estate. You can go on YouTube. Well, I will say that I took that route for a little bit, and I was like, there's not something here. I went to college for 4 years and $200,000 worth of education for a job that I'm now leaving. So if you want to get ahead, if you want to be successful, pay for it. You pay for what you get. And honestly, at the end of the day, I will say that if you are looking to get into real estate and it's something that you want to do, give it a shot. Look into it, read a couple books. If it's something you want to do, reach out to us. We'll give you, any direction we can. Reach out to Jenn and Joe, and honestly, take the leap. It'll be life-changing. This is not something that I ever thought we'd be able to do. It still hasn't even hit me yet. But our goal was to, by 30, have kids and be able to be home, and we're going to do that now. That's actually going to happen.
One thing I want to say is mindset, having the right mindset. And the other day I saw something where it was like, or I was talking with my friends, and it's so risky. I don't know why you're doing this. And I saw the other day where it said, yes, real estate is risky. You're risking a lot, but you are risking your one source of income with just your one job, while we're having multiple sources of income coming in. So just some food for thought there.
Yep.
And you're absolutely right. I listened to a Jim Rohn, who is a huge impact in my life, and he talks about how everything's risky. Life is risky. He's like, but it's more risky is not doing. That's the bigger risk, is not doing, right? Being at the end of your life thinking like, oh, I wish I did all these things, right? And with everything, you have to take calculated risks, and
Right.
knowing the right thing is extremely important. When we talk about non-recourse debt, which we'll dive into at another time, there's definitely ways to make sure you're doing it the right way, which is not commonly known. So this is why you guys, what we label as our 1.0, our first round of students, signed up for our 2.0 second round of students. And then here we are at the end of that, about to get into 3.0, and you guys were welcoming back again. So obviously, you guys are in the right direction, and I just love what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're the tip of the iceberg. If you think this is exciting, like I can't wait to be a part of your lives.
The next 6 months, holy cow.
Next 6 months, next 10 years,
Yep.
like holy cow, it's going to be awesome to see.
We'll be flying down to see you in Florida.
Before you
Heck
know
yeah.
it, before you know it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, guys, for your time. I know you're super busy, and we can't wait to continue to follow your journey.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you for everything that you've done for us.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.